What are you looking at right now? How are you analyzing the opportunity set which lies ahead and the way environment is shaping that you thought of launching a fund yourself?
Thank you very much, Ajay. I think it's a great question that you ask. I think we are all very lucky to be in a point of time in the history of the country where things are changing very fast. We are today on the cusp of innovation, which we had not seen before. And we all know that venture capital industry has been the backbone of innovation world over. The Indian venture capital industry had not been so strong in the past, but in the last few years, we have really seen this industry grow phenomenally. But if you look at the industry per se, you will find that most of the venture capital funds are still focused on software services, or e-commerce, or fintech, and maybe a few on infrastructure. But you will not find too many venture capital funds who are focused on creating products, technologies. And we all know that the real wealth, if you look at any of the developed nations, any of the nations which have grown fast in the developmental history, it is those nations who have created products, who have created technologies, have really grown fast and have become developed. A case in point is South Korea, which over the last couple of decades has just galloped into a totally different stratosphere. So the point I'm making is, we have now seen offshoots of innovation in this country, and time is ripe to start getting into product innovation. In defense, we saw new technologies, new products getting developed for the first time in the last 3-4 years, thanks to the policy initiatives taken by the government. And we are today trying to give support to those initiatives by creating a fund involving professionals, those who understand the sector, bring in-depth knowledge of what the sector needs, where the sector is going, and also bringing in the financial muscle of the investors to back these innovators. And that is what we are thinking to do.
So specifically, if we talk of, the segments within defense, first of all, there is very limited understanding which are the segments within defense which exist. Can you talk a little more in detail, explaining what are the segments? Some are technologically more demanding, some are relatively commodity type, some are very futuristic, space, radars, or telecommunication within that. If you can talk about what are the segments, what are the size of the opportunity in each of them, how much we were dependent on imports, how are we opening up our own sector now?
So let me talk about it from two ways. First of all, from a defense perspective, you have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and each one of them has their own specific needs. In addition to that, today we are increasingly seeing the focus on space becoming very important in the context of warfare. And so also cyber and information is also becoming very important. So these are the new dimensions in which the warfare is expanding. And each of these have their own very specialized needs. So this is one way of looking at it. The second way to look at it is, as we are seeing now, increasingly the use of technology has greatly enhanced in defense. We are looking at electronic warfare, network-centric warfare. We are looking at artificial intelligence playing a more important role. I spoke about space. Underwater technologies have become extremely important as a whole new arena of contestation is emerging, which is below water. And the capabilities here are beyond the conventional submarines that we have talked about. Each of these areas, as we see, the way the whole defense ecosystem is evolving, technology is the underlying theme. And in fact, it has been the case even in the history. If you see, the frontiers of technology have moved forward because of the military demands that have been put on that. And so even now we are seeing the same kind of trend happening. The good news for us in India is that while it was true that we were lagging in some of the conventional areas of technology in the country, but in the new and emerging areas where digital technologies are playing an increasingly important role, most of the functionalities of warfare platforms and equipment are determined based on digital technologies, whether it is sensor-based technology, whether it is artificial intelligence, or what you have. It is these areas where we in India have inherent strengths. And if you look at the startup ecosystem, which has been leveraged by IDEX under the Innovation for Defence Excellence program of the Ministry of Defence, we have seen a number of startups who emerged and created technologies which were not only extremely good, but sometimes they were even better than the best in the world. And this has enabled them not only to provide these technologies for Indian armed forces, but several foreign countries, leading developed countries who have been leaders in defense technologies historically, have come to India and sought to partner with us to source those technologies from India. When was the last time that we in India actually had something to offer in terms of technology to a developed country? And it is this change which has come. And the point I wanted to make is this change had come from startups. And the startups have been able to make that huge advancement is because the digital technologies are so important. And in some ways, it is easier for us to be able to leapfrog when it comes to digital technologies as compared to some of the conventional technologies where we still need to bridge the gap.
Okay. Mr. Kumar, I want to understand slightly on the commercial side. One is, what stage of technology would we be investing this money in? I want to understand many of them would be early stage, which commercial, levels to be reached in years' time, or some would be already commercial technology. What is the nature of structure of this fund which you are looking at?
So, we would largely be focusing on what the startup is creating. How much of, the new technology or new product that he is creating, how does it going to change the present way things are done? And to what extent can he disrupt the present way of doing things? It is therefore extremely important for us to see that how, where is the real, how disruptive the work that is being done. Having said this, our focus of this fund would be on both early stage as well as pre-Series A and Series A kind of investments. And one of the strengths or one of the value additions that we propose to create is what we call as the base and node network, where startups, early startups, mid-stage startups who are in a particular sector, we hope to connect them into a network of players in that whole supply chain through which they can add value, they can receive value and are able to grow faster in that ecosystem. So having created a base and node network, we want to really help the startups in being able to grow in their ecosystem. But like I said earlier, we will be investing in early stage, we'll be investing in pre-Series A, Series A, and helping them grow thereafter.
And what about returns? How long is this fund going to be? What kind of returns can investors expect in terms of IRRs the fund will be aiming at? If you can share some details.
In the venture capital industry, this kind of crystal gazing is extremely difficult to say that what kind of returns the investors would get. But we are very optimistic, and we are sure that the kind of professionals that are there in the fund, we will be able to make good bets, and typically in time frame of 3 to 5 years would we start seeing good growth in these companies, after which the exits will take place and the investors would start getting their returns.
Right, but you firmly believe that there's a very long tailwind in this space, because some in the market believe that defense opportunities have already moved out, already panned out. Can you talk to us a little size and scope of this space, and what kind of tailwind does it provide in the years to come?
So defense and aerospace is $1 trillion+ market globally. And if you add space to it, we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg as far as space is concerned, this is going to be even further more. Therefore, and we have not even, we have seen the very smallest part of it. The second part is this market is kind of winner takes all market. If you create a leading technology in any of the areas that you are in, then everyone in the world wants to get that technology, because no military in the world wants the second best. Everyone wants the best. Therefore, as a result, what you see is that 80% of the global arms market is controlled by 5 countries. And of course, we are not one of them. But we are today seeing several signs which indicate that we have potential to become one of the 5 in the next 10 years. And this is both because of the technological change that the ecosystem is seeing, but also because of many geopolitical factors which are aligning in our favor. And because of this, I think as the technological ecosystem continues to grow, as more and more companies find new areas and avenues to grow, we will also find international interest in sourcing technology from India. In fact, as you know, the defense exports have grown nearly 7x in the last around 6-7 years. It used to be 1,400 crores in 2017-18, and now it is over 21,000 crores. But yet this is still very small. I think we will continue to see the growth of defense exports. We are seeing startups from India. They are not only catering to Indian defense forces, but they are already within 3 to 4 years of their inception have created their footprints in other countries. And therefore, we will find our startups becoming global and providing support in many other countries also. So I do see we having a bigger play in the global market, and I think that is where the huge opportunity will reside.
All right, Mr. Kumar, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you very much, Ajay. Thank you so much.